Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and as always, I'm joined by Aaron.
Hello, everyone.
And tonight we are talking about a primetime special of The Young and the Restless that aired on October 26th, 1995. Um, we've talked about the Days of Our Lives primetime special, so I thought it would be cool if we talked about a different show's attempt at a primetime special. So let's roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So, okay, before we actually start, my first question I have to ask you, did John watch it with you?
No, because
Uh,
I forgot I had to watch it.
I imagined him like filling you in on like who the people were.
Well, I knew all the characters that were on there besides whoever Drusilla was yelling at. I don't
Nathan?
really. I guess so. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I didn't really know him.
Yeah, I pictured John being like, "That's Nathan, and he's married to Liv, and Liv is Drew's sister, and he's cheating on her with Keisha, and he ain't shit." Like,
I don't know. This is '95, so he would have been in school.
oh,
Oh well, no, it would have been a primetime special. So,
yeah. So
but
when did he watch in the summers?
when did you watch Young and the Restless? Early
Oh, he's right
2000s?
there.
Oh no, all through childhood. I was wrong.
I'll see.
He's like the judges off to the side. Can we get it rolling?
I wasn't expecting you to just like talk to him. I was like, oh, he's right there.
Yeah.
um, so I posted the beginning of this, which was like the promo, as like a little
Mm-hmm.
teaser on Twitter, and people were like really excited about it. They were like, "Oh my god, the music, like the opening," and I'm like, "Oh, was this the actual opening for the show back in the day?" I don't know. I'm not well versed in Y&R, so we're gonna do our
I'm,
best tonight.
I'm not well versed, so I have my opinions of just this episode alone. I won't judge the storyline based on anything that's happening or will happen. It's strictly based on this primetime special.
So right off the bat, a few familiar faces for us. Eddie Cibrian, who played Cole on Sunset Beach.
I forgot he was on Young and the Restless. I remember him being on it, but I forgot he was on Young and the Restless for a little bit.
I had always read that he was on Young and the Restless before Sunset Beach, but I never actually got to see him, so this was a treat for me. Fun fact, did you know that him and Josh O'Mara were in a boy band together?
I did not.
Yes. Couldn't tell you the name of it, but they were in a boy band.
There are a few members of Days of Our Lives currently in a boy band, or not boy band, but musical group.
Yeah, no, I think they like legit had a boy band. It was like three of them, and it was like it was during like the whole Backstreet Boys NSYNC LFO era.
Oh, good time.
um, so what was I going to say? Oh, so I knew that because when I started watching soaps, specifically Days, I remember Googling things. Also Sunset Beach because Eddie. Oh wait, I did not Google. I asked Jeeves because I don't think Google was around yet.
Oh my gosh, F's. I forgot. Oh, that's a flashback.
And I was like, oh, a boy band I've never heard of that has soap stars in it. Interesting.
Like you're going way back with Ask Jeeves.
It was like the late 90s. When did Google come around? 98, 99,
Oh,
97?
you're asking the wrong person.
It was the same thing. I couldn't afford AOL. I always had those free 30-day trials that when you went to cancel, they gave you another 30 days.
Oh, I still live that way. No.
You're like, that's just how I live my life.
Like, oh, we hate to see you go. What if we give you this discount? Sure, I'll stay.
Another familiar face for us. Don't know the actress's name, but she played Amy on The Young and the Restless.
We know her as Swamp Girl.
Yeah, or Princess Greta.
Or Swamp Girl. I mean,
Or Swamp Girl.
that's got. I would love to be not like. Oh, I know you as Swamp Girl from Days. I'd be like, oh, you can picture me even without all the mud. Like, thank you. I really gave it my all in that part. There was a lot of,
And like mud on her face.
like you're the prettiest swamp person I've ever seen, though.
So, did any set of characters, story, or scenes stand out to you?
Drusilla. I think Y&R now is that's what they're like kind of missing from what I feel like they're missing that spice that she was bringing because she was saying things and I was just like, get them, girl, get them. I didn't even know why she was so mad. First. It was like, just get them, you know.
You're like, I don't know why you're mad, but I support you.
Yeah, it's like you have to have a good reason, so I support you. It was really sad to see Neil.
Yeah, Christopher St. John.
Yeah, because he's one of those characters like I may not watch it like most people like religiously, but I knew those big characters.
Yeah, that's like any soap fan though. Like you just kind of know who people are through osmosis. I think just from like the magazine covers and yeah. But yeah, so it was good to see Christoph. So Drew's sister is Liv, who is married to Nathan. And Nathan apparently has been cheating on her with Keisha. And Keisha is also a patient of Liv's.
I just love some of those naughty words that Drusilla were throwing out. I wish I could remember what she was saying.
Oh, I know.
You know which ones I'm talking about?
So when Drusilla finally confronts Nathan, so Neil is the one that told Drusilla, which I got from the promo in the beginning. Because she was like, telling me.
Those promos were so 90s. I loved it.
Yes. They were sexy. They would be sexy now. None of the shows are that sexy right now.
At the end of it, they showed like another promo, like some other promos, and I loved how Nyx was framed. It's like if you didn't watch, if you're just watching the promo, you're like, for what? Yeah.
Yeah, but the women, they were like showing, leg, they're showing some skin. Everything was sexy. They don't do that anymore.
No.
They don't invest in promos anymore.
I was going to say, we're lucky to get a promo.
Yeah. Nikki looked young, and in the promo, there was a shot of her with Brad, and I guess they had just gotten out of the swimming pool, so her hair was wet. And for a split second, I thought Nikki was Sharon. That's how young she looked.
Well, I mean, it's almost been 30 years, Tommy.
Okay, I know that. But in my head, 1995 was only like 15 years ago.
True. I thought the same thing when I saw Victor. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, even he looked younger.
I was like, whoa. He was, but he still had that, I'm Victor Newman.
Nick and Sharon were babies, especially Sharon.
Oh my gosh, right. Like, crazy.
And this was 95, I think. Sharon, and she's not the original Sharon. I think she's like the second or third Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
So she had only been on for maybe a year and a half at this point. So she was like still new.
Heather Tom, though, is Victoria. It's so weird to see her in that part.
Okay, first of all, I love her as a blonde. I forgot what she looked like blonde because I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And that first shot of her, she was like basically in like her undergarments, like pulling up her dress, and I was like, "Look at you, cute little body."
See, I remember her and that guy she's with. I don't know his name, but I remember as being a kid seeing them.
I'm pretty sure his name is Cole Howard from other episodes I've seen.
I remember him.
Yeah, and he's been on other shows. He was on Days before he was on Y&R, and then I think he was on like All My Children or something, one of the ABC shows.
I'm sure during this. Well, I don't know when this primetime. When did this primetime special air?
October 95.
Oh, okay, never mind. That summer, we probably for sure watched Young the Restless because Marlena was still possessed.
No, she wasn't.
Not by November, but didn't she get unpossessed in the summer of 95?
Yeah, July.
Okay, but it was 95?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure we watched Young and the Restless then. That's probably why some of these characters are very familiar.
Oh,
Because
that's right.
I am a Y&R family in a sense, like, but days, we are a days family, like, religiously. We never miss days.
Uh-huh.
Y&R was part of it, but off and on. So I'm sure because we didn't go to the pool
Hmm.
until after days was off because it was so good. I'm sure we watched Price is Right, Young and the Restless, News, Days of Our Lives.
Oh, you're so lucky it was split up. See, here, Y&R comes on at 12:30, and then Days was on at 1. So you really could only watch like a half hour of The Young and the Restless if you wanted to watch Days.
Oh,
Or
see,
you had to flip back in between commercial breaks.
we would have been strictly a Days family then at that point.
And now it's the other way around, because here I believe, I don't watch it on network TV anymore. I watch it on Peacock. But I think they moved it to 12, so now you're missing the first half of The Young and the Restless, but you can watch the second half if you want.
Yeah, that schedule's pretty much stayed the same. The most that's changed is Days, instead of coming on at 12:30, it now strictly comes on at 1.
And it's, yeah, that was my schedule, as far back as I can remember, 1 o'clock. But that would have been 12 your time, unless it just came on at a different time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We have to get back to Y&R. This doesn't matter.
Going down a hole.
Who?
It said going down a hole.
Oh, I thought you said Nicole. I'm like, who? So the promo led us to believe that there's some kind of love affair going on between Brad, played by Don Diamont, and Nikki.
Okay, I know looks are not. I'm not trying to objectify Brad. He's much cuter now than he was then.
I like him both ways, but I agree. I like him. I feel like he's bulkier now. He has more muscles, and I like his facial hair now.
How? Like those scenes in the locker room.
Okay.
I was kind of like, this is a weird thing for
for 95.
Yeah.
Did you see him in like the gray underwears before they went into the shower?
I just thought it was very just for not like I'm shocked that they were. Brad was touching on
Jack,
and I was like, okay.
I may have had like a brief moment where I was also kind of digging Jack. I was like, wait,
I've never been a Jack fan.
I was like,
never, ever. I don't know what it is.
Like looks wise, or just like the character?
Just the character. I've never liked him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure why. I just.
Yeah. So Jack is basically just warning Brad to stay away from Nikki.
I love anytime a soap tells when they're talking about someone who's dating someone or involved with someone, they mention all the ex-husbands.
Right.
That's her ex-husband, and I'm sure Victor would agree it's her ex-husband.
Meanwhile, I did catch that her last name is still Abbott, so she still has his last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that conversation between them went on the whole time, like before they worked out, during the workout, after the workout, right into the shower where we saw a little side cheek for Don Diamont.
Poor guy. He needs to stop working on everything else and work on the glutes.
Had you ever like throughout the years heard about this?
No.
Really?
I didn't even know there was a primetime special of Young and the Restless.
Well, I think there's more than one, but
because I'm sure our viewers will probably hate on me for not really, but that's Young and the Restless just isn't my show.
Yeah, but I had heard throughout the years that there was this epic, like Don Diamont showed his ass on primetime television.
If that's what they consider epic.
And it wasn't even whole ass, it was side ass.
I know, because I think ABC had a show called Once and Again.
Uh-huh.
And you saw more ass in that in the first episode.
Well, I remember it being a big deal. I think that Mark Paul Gosselaar showed his ass on NYPD Blue.
That one too. Mm-hmm.
The 90s. But seriously, like Baywatch, we see more side boob than we saw ass cheek.
I was about to say it's funny that side ass. That's what I'm gonna call it. Side ass. Yeah, like was such a big thing
Yeah.
because that was not much side ass.
So Nick apparently is going on trial for shooting Matt Clark, which is Eddie Cibrian's character.
Oh, I thought Nick was framed for rape.
No, I think it's for
Because I
shooting.
thought that's where Amy came involved.
No, so if anybody's watching live, please come into the chat and help us. But I believe Matt Clark raped Amy.
Okay, I got that.
I don't know who shot Matt. I'm gonna assume it was Amy, but who knows?
Oh, I didn't know Matt was shot because he looked perfectly fine. So I don't know how long it's been. I thought
You didn't see in the promo where he was in the hospital bed because somebody had shot him.
well, I saw him in the hospital bed, but I guess I didn't pay much attention.
How could you not pay attention to those dimples?
I don't have this attachment to those dimples like you do.
Fine. We have a 25-year relationship, me and those dimples.
I don't have that relationship.
One thing I will note, though, that the coffee shop that they all hang out at, Crimson Lights, I believe it's called, was very crowded. Very crowded. That set is never that crowded these days. Like, you have 5 people in there.
I was going to say our extra budget got cut, I'm sure.
I don't know if it was the angle they were shooting it from. It even just it felt bigger and it just looked different.
Yeah, I try to give when I watch these older soaps, I'm just like, man, look how many extras in the background, extra people just talking. Like
Victor
man,
was in a jet. Remember when days used to have jet sets? Mm-hmm. And you got an outside exterior of a jet flying.
I do just love how Nikki was just like, oh, Victor got the jet. It's like, must be nice just to be like, he just got the jet. He'll be back in a little bit.
The Newman Ranch, where everybody was gathering for dinner, is the original Newman Ranch. Sharon burned it down about 10, 12 years ago. That's why the current Newman Ranch doesn't look like that.
Who made her mad?
Well, this was around the time I think they may have started her bipolar storyline.
Oh,
they didn't
okay.
It was bipolar, and yeah. So
I was thinking someone just made her mad or something. Sharon doesn't Sharon have a little bit of a temper?
Yeah, but I think she was having a manic episode because I think she even married Victor around that time also.
What is it?
People were
and the characters marrying the daddies.
Yeah, people were pissed.
We all have daddy issues.
People were pissed because they were like, yeah, they've always had a connection, but it was always a father-daughter connection. So for them to get married, people were pissed off about it.
Oh yeah, because then they ruin any connection he had, like that father-daughter connection. Because how do you go back to that after you've been married?
I feel like it's a thing that they don't talk about, so it's it never happened.
Kind of like how the possession was something we didn't talk about until it happened again.
Well, also kind of Nikki actually has MS, and they never talk about it. But, speaking of MS, so she didn't have MS around this time, but a few years ago, they had, I guess her MS started to flare up, and she was supposed to play piano at some event. And during this episode, she was playing piano, and I was like, oh, so it's in the character's history. This is something that she does. Mm-hmm. Thought that was a nice little detail to note. You could tell she was trying to be proper and polite, but when Sharon called to ask if she could bring anything for the dinner, you could tell that she's not Sharon's biggest fan. And I don't know if it's because Sharon's not wealthy or I don't know. But Nikki can't say anything. Victor found her on the stripper pole.
Okay, I was about to say, was it Miss, I guess, Abbott at the moment? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that work, but like for her to be
To look
judging,
down.
yeah, to look down when she was in a profession that is typically looked down upon.
Um,
I'm very like, if you got the body, you can. If there was someone who wanted to see this dancing and wanted to give me dollar bills, you got it.
OnlyFans. Um, but also, like, given retcon history, she was in a cult. That's why. That's why Steve Burton's character exists.
Hasn't been in a cult when it comes to soap opera?
Um, so we had Paul and Victor working together to find Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what kind of facility she was in, but it looked like they specialized in helping people that are victims of rape. And it seemed like Amy's still very traumatized by it, and she's not speaking.
Mm-hmm. It was like the blonde Laura. Is it Lauren Bell? Is that her name?
Yeah, Christine, aka
Yeah.
Cricket.
Haven't seen her in forever, so it was cool to see her.
She's another one that I feel like doesn't really age. I feel like every time I see her, she looks the same.
Yeah.
So she, being a woman, feels like maybe she'll open up to her.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't know if people, well, I'm sure people knew, but she reveals to Amy that she also had been raped at one point. And I don't know why I didn't just Google it, and I still don't know the answer, but I was like, who was it? Because she said it was somebody she was romantically involved with, and I was like, was it Danny or Melody? And I'm like going through like the people that I do know from the show, the little bits and pieces I'm trying to put together. I still don't know the answer. I'll look it up later. But yeah, so she reveals to her, and you kind of see it break through a little bit to Amy, even though she still doesn't speak.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't know if you caught it. Did you catch the Bold and the Beautiful promo in between?
Yes, because
the
Sheila and Lauren. I was like, okay. This must be when y'all living in LA.
God, I want to see 90 Sheila so bad.
You're getting there.
Yeah, I have like 3 more years. So I'm there.
It's only like, what, 600 episodes?
Yeah, something like that. So I guess that was everything, and we can actually now talk about the whole Neil, Drusilla, Liv, Nathan thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said earlier, Drew knows about Nathan cheating on her sister Olivia because Neil told her. I saw that in the promo. I like how Neil was like, "Don't get involved," and she's like, "Oh hell no, that's my sister. I'm gonna blow this shit up." I loved her energy. She was just giving everything in her scene.
She was. To me, those were the more interesting plots for me. But I think it's because her performance is what drew me to those scenes. Because not really knowing anything about the storyline before, I was only going based off what was happening in this episode, and Drusilla is what I loved seeing.
Oh, also Malcolm, played by Shamar Moore, who is Neil's brother, is casually dating Keisha, who's sleeping with Nathan. It's like everybody in this like group is like connected.
Love it. That's what I love about mistakes.
And she's like, "No, I have a boyfriend. We're still trying to work things out." So she kind of like politely brushes him off. After he brings all this food and strawberries and whipped cream, I was like, "I want some strawberries and whipped cream."
Gregory? No.
He's in the chat. I don't know if you noticed.
Tommy wants some strawberries with cream. I just realized you're wearing the days set on your shirt.
It's like,
sorry, I just saw the little stars there. Had to go for it.
So, little side tangent. This is from a 5K that I did in Brooklyn like 7 years ago. It's called the Color Run. So it was at night, and it was basically like neon chalk all like around this like 5K, and you could like roll around in it, throw it at people. Like it was fun. But this this shirt actually glows in the dark, and I wore it to bed one night, and Greg was like, "Why is your shirt so bright?"
Yeah, I've never ran a 5K. I planned one and put on one, but I've never ran.
Oh, I didn't run it. I walked it.
Okay, I didn't run. I didn't run or walk. Let me
It
tell
was
you,
fun.
organizing a 5K is not as easy as it sounds.
Oh, you organized a 5K?
When I was at SAU,
Oh, wow.
we did an ugly sweater run.
Hope it was cold in
It,
Arkansas.
it was not.
Oh.
I also took photos of the event, and one of my photos ended up in one of the Little Rocks papers. So I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
cool!
cool. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you." Now, this was 2015, but
Well, I just found out. So
I'm a queer of many talents.
a queer million. Um, so Drew decides to go see Nathan and basically tell him that she knows and that he needs to end things with Keisha, or she's gonna tell her sister. And he's trying to like reason with her, and she's like, no, she doesn't want to hear it. And that's when she's like, you need to end it with this hoochie mama.
Yes, I have not heard Hoochie Mama in so long. I did not know I needed that.
It was so
I am
good.
confused. Like, if I found out someone was cheating on my sibling,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be saying, you either break it off or I'm on. I'd be like, hey, I just caught so and so with your man.
You would just flat out say it. You wouldn't be like, hey, are you sitting down? Like, you wouldn't even try to like soften the blow.
Now, I mean, I've had to tell someone that before.
You're not driving right now, are you?
I guess those are good questions to ask. My hair is
Yeah.
driving me crazy.
And then Keisha calls, and Nathan is not quick enough to answer it, so Drew answers it, and she's like, hello, hello, hello. I loved her energy.
Oh, I did too.
So then she immediately knew who it was. Because then Keisha says, is this the babysitter? And she's like, no, it's not the babysitter, and I know who you are. And she's like, don't call here again. She hangs up on her. And then she's like, now call her back.
Tell her it's
and tell you, this is what she's like, tell your sweet thing that it's over.
So, would she just keep that from her sister if he called it off?
I don't know. That
Because,
seems messed up.
see, and that's why I'm just saying, you just gotta do it like a band-aid.
But it's for a television show, it's less dramatic.
Oh yeah, it's not as fun if you just. Well, actually, it would be kind of fun, and it'd be kind of a plot twist if someone did that.
But then the story's over.
No,
So
not if you're a good writer.
True. And that was it, right? He didn't call her. That was pretty much how that ended. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a soap. He ain't gonna call for 2 more months at least, probably.
And I'm so mad because like where I found this episode, the next episodes aren't there, and I was like, I actually want to see this storyline.
It made me want to see more of Drusilla
Mm-hmm.
because I know her character. Well, I guess the actress more like I know didn't she in the show not part on such good terms?
No. I think she got thrown in a volcano. I think that's how they killed her. Yeah. And I've seen Drusilla before, but like the mid to late 2000s. And while her scenes were good then, they weren't like this. This was like amazing.
Okay.
At least in this, like they were just on another level here. And I read that like William Bell gave her like the freedom to like twerk scripts and kind of make them feel more realistic. So maybe like once Bill Bell wasn't there anymore, she started to have that like tension because she still wanted to do that, and whoever was there at the time wasn't feeling it.
So creative differences.
Yeah. You know that Malcolm is Lily's father, right? Not Neil.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Didn't Drusilla have an affair with Malcolm?
Yes, I think so. But I haven't seen that, so maybe one day.
See, my family loves Malcolm. Oh my gosh. They love that man.
Also, fun fact: they recasted Malcolm in like
With the Family Matters guy. Nothing against the Family Matters guy. Nothing against you. I just didn't get the same vibe.
Okay, I like that you know that because the actor that plays Devon was Richie, like Little Richie, like.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like a Family Matters.
It was fun. I just feel like I don't know. Eddie's his name on Family Matters. I don't feel like Eddie was a good fit for Malcolm's character.
No, I think everybody would agree with you.
Just because Malcolm, like, just when he comes on the screen, I don't know how, but he just sexiness comes through the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's on the screen, you're just like, you're like, oh, let me lift my mouth up. There's just something like he's so charismatic. Anything he's in, I loved him in Criminal Minds. Oh, when he'd call what's her name, baby girl. I wanted to be called baby girl.
He made me want whipped cream and strawberries tonight. But I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I mean, how much can you really say about one episode of a soap opera? But
when
we
you
did
don't
pretty
really
good.
know any of the storylines.
That's pretty much all that happened. We're just awaiting Nick's trial that we'll never see because the episodes aren't available. But I'm gonna, 30 years later, say he's not in jail. So I think he got off.
That's a safe bet. Safe bet to say.
He may or may not have married Sharon at some point.
Or if he does go to jail, he doesn't stay there for long.
Yeah. But unless you can think of anything else.
I think for a primetime special, compared to like the Days primetime specials, this one was a little slow. I feel like the Days ones had a little bit more action impacted.
Yeah. The Days ones were like action adventure ones. But Y&R was always a little bit slower, which is why I think as a kid I wasn't really like that into it.
Same.
But this was, I feel like, fast paced for Y&R standards.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that scenes were just shorter and maybe that's why it felt faster, and people moved locations, which they don't normally do in an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger sets and the jet. So, and just the sheer amount of cast members in the episode. But one thing I did take note of, because I don't even know if she was on the show yet, but Michelle Stafford wasn't in it.
I thought it was weird that Phyllis wasn't there. I've always loved Phyllis.
I think she was on 94 or 95. Maybe she just wasn't as big of a character yet. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I really enjoyed the episode. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night, guys. Bye.
Bye.